My backwards abilities are pretty bad. Day number 8 of 24 days of random awesomeness. And as we have seen yesterday already, this bag today is a little bit bigger, a little bit more heavy. I turn it around so you don't see what it is. Yeah, it's definitely metal. And let's open it up. Let's see what bag number 8 brings us today. So first of all, let's get these out. We have two cans of stuff. And then we have the main unit. Let's take these out. Something is messing here with this thing. Okay. Voila, that's it. That's our bag number 8. What is it? Well, let's have a look. Let's put this like this. We don't see much. Let's flip it this side. There is nothing. Let's flip it this side. There is nothing. You see there are some feet, so it's supposed to stand up. We have this thing over here. And let's turn this around. And now, what is this? Well, this is a flame projector or fire machine, they call it, how they call it in China. This basically is a machine that produces fireballs for shows, events, for all kinds of stuff. This is like the cheapest machine that you can find. Not only one of the most dangerous things you can buy for free without having a permit, but also they are not built to the best safety aspects, let's say. So what do we have? Well, we have DMX. DMX is a protocol used in the show industry to control light fixtures, or in this case a flame projector. You have an in and out. We have a switch which says DMX or power. You have a little dip switch thingy here. These are usually for a DMX. You have to set an address. Let's say, for example, you set it on 200, so the lighting console knows that at address 200 this machine gets piloted or controlled. Then you say how many channels this machine is using. Usually, well, for this machine it just uses one channel, which is on and off. And you have a power input, and that's basically it. Let's turn it up here. Can you see this? Well, can we see it somewhere? A little bit. Maybe I should zoom in. That's the first time I zoom in on one of these videos. Now you see you have a spark gap. You have this thing. This is standard. This is like something you have in your heating system, in your heater, gas heater or propane heater. And then you have a nozzle down there, which is basically just a piece of tube or a screw that is that is hollow. Now let's open this thing up. On the side you have this door here, and let's open this. Ta-da! Well, that is basically these are the guts. Let's turn this up first, maybe like this. First of all, we see a lot of hot snot, hot glue here, which is basically used to glue down the spark gap on top of it. Not a good way of doing this, especially not when you're playing with hot stuff like fire, of course. Also, it's not glued in very nicely. It is really just thrown in there and melt the hell out of it with hot glue. And you have a solenoid valve that is basically this thing here, which is it's a spool, and that gets magnetized due to some electric current, and then it moves a piston in the middle, which opens the valve here, and then you have a bit weird adapter thingy and a screw, which is basically down here. Can we see this? Focus. Hello. It is basically an end cap with a hole in it, but it is quite hard to focus this. Wait, let me. There you can see it. So it's an end cap with a hole in the middle. That's basically it. Then you can see again the solenoid valve and the hot glue, and then we have some minor electronics here, which is basically the circuitry you need for the DMX control with the dip switches here on the side. You have a relay. This is probably switching the relay to a high voltage power supply to operate the spark gap, and in the meantime it opens this valve. That's about it. Now to the more interesting part. How does this thing work fuel wise? Well, they give you these bottles, nice rusted spray cans with a blue sticker on it, which supposedly means it's a blue flame, which is not always the case, of course. It depends probably on what color of tape they have that day. Yeah, and you're supposed to, you see that you have a little improvised O-ring up here. And what you basically do, and I think I have to get up for this because you need quite a bit of strength, push this down and squeeze the bottle in there so that the pipe goes into that hole of this end cap. That's basically it. Yes, and now this thing is loaded, so of course the pressure goes out, it goes into the solenoid valve, and that's about it. Now, I ordered this thing, I think it was like 70 bucks or something. I mostly ordered it because of the parts. I would never use this thing, especially not on stage or something. Also, there are a lot of regulations you have to know when you do stuff with fire, especially indoors, of course. And well, I ordered this for 70 bucks, and I ordered a controller that came with it for 30 bucks. And it had a XLR output. So of course I use a XLR cable and plugged it into the controller, plugged it in here. I pushed the button and it starts smoking, and smoke, the magic smoke kind, came out here. I found out that that controller that they sent me is basically nothing else than a switchboard, and they put 240 volts onto a DMX cable or XLR cable, and it blew, of course, the DMX controller inside. So we have the option still to use it on the power mode, so as soon you put a current in here, this thing will just start throwing flames. This sticker, by the way, we put this on there. We used it twice on a movie or something, far off everybody, just in the background to have like a flame going off. Yeah, because there's another very big issue with this unit, and that is, let's open this again. Well, you know, we squeeze in a pressurized fuel canister here, and well, actually there is a hose in there, so it ejects liquid, not only gas. So it sprays out a liquid, and that gets ignited by this high voltage supply, power supply. And well, the only thing that avoids any gas from leaking out here is that little O-ring. And when that is not 100% aligned or somehow in the wrong spot, there will be some gas leaking in here. And of course, when you put in a bottle like this and you close the hatch and you leave this overnight or for a couple of hours, and you press the button, you can imagine what happens. Well, the whole thing will explode because it is filled up with gas and oxygen. Now, something you definitely don't want for a close proximity effect that usually stands in the front of a stage, for example, close to people. So I definitely want to encourage you not buying those cheap things. Even they are super cheap, they can really hurt somebody. Yeah. Especially indoors. I mean, you don't want something blew up near people. On the other hand, I ordered this thing mostly for parts, as I said, and that's basically quite cool because for 70 bucks you get a solenoid valve, you get a high power power supply, you get the spark gap thingy, which has like a porcelain holder. You get even a DMX board with a relay on it. So a couple of nice things you get for quite cheap. But don't use these things, and I won't either. I just wanted to show you because it is quite an interesting piece of equipment, or interesting piece of Chinese export, which the CE sign stands for at their place. Also, I bought some more of these sprays in Europe, and they're not compatible because somehow, yeah, they refuse to light up. Probably because the spark gap isn't powerful enough. I show you some pictures right now of these machines. You can see those 4 machines. They have special safety switches in there and comply with the European law, not as this thing. For example, the other ones you just saw in the video, they have a tilt switch, which is kind of a mercury switch or a digital switch mounted in there. So when you start tilting these machines at a certain angle, they will refuse to work. Simply because, imagine you have like 10 of these units on a stage and somebody hits one and it falls over. And well, you're supposed to always have a free sight on all of the machines, but imagine you push the button and this thing fires straight into the people. So that avoids it from happening because the switch will just cut it. Of course, these things don't have those kind of safety features. But anywho, it was quite nice of showing this off again, because I haven't had this in hands for many months. And maybe, well, pretty soon I will disassemble this thing and build something else from it. And also then I can reuse maybe this stuff. Now, that was it for today's video. What do we have tomorrow? Let me grab this. And this is basically too big to fit inside of a bag. Well, I don't know, should I show it? No, I shouldn't. I will show you this tomorrow. Let's move this out of the way, but you can already see that it's a big box, but you don't know what's in there. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I see you tomorrow. Until then, see ya! Oh, this smells like insect spray.